Good afternoon. I'm Edward Adams from Bloomberg Media Studios, and I'm joined today by Gary Kotovets, who is the Chief Data and Analytics Officer at Dun & Bradstreet, and in full disclosure, former colleague of mine here at Bloomberg.
Yes.
As I'm sure most of this room knows, Dun & Bradstreet has information about approximately 590 million companies. And you really operate sort of at the intersection of sales and purchases, right? I mean, you help people decide who they're going to purchase goods from, and you help them find out who they should be selling to. And we're going to be talking about the procurement end of that today, right? And you've got a new product out in the market, I think only about a month, called Ask Procurement, that is based on AI and run on a fundamental AI platform. But explain to me, what was the problem that you were trying to solve with this product? Why create?
Sure. So thanks for having me here. I'm having all kinds of deja vus of being in this room. A lot of my board presentations were here, so it's kind of really strange being here back again. But back to your question, so procurement professionals and supply chain managers are really one of our key use cases, right? So we service those customers by providing them essentially assessments on risk as it relates to managing or onboarding and managing their suppliers. You know, we have existing data, we have products that we have been providing these customers for the last many years. And really, when Gen AI started to come out and become much more of a commodity, we thought this would be one of the perfect use cases to address because there's inefficiencies in some of those processes. There's a lot of time that's spent in as it relates to, identifying a supplier, onboarding a supplier, and then monitoring them. And procurement teams are always kind of after finding efficiencies and saving money and costs. So we thought this would be the perfect use case.
So the way it's worked up to now is you port your data into the procurement solution that I'm using at Company X, right?
That's right.
And then if I'm going to be looking for a supplier of good X, Y, and Z from the following location, I need to do a bunch of different searches within that, right?
That's right.
How is this product different from what the old product was?
So there's two products, basically. There's one which is really the data that's fed into, let's say, an SAP or an Oracle procurement system. And inside that application, they consume our data to make some of those decisions. There's a lot of steps that they would have to go through, depending on the application, depending on the steps that the application sort of pushes them to make inside their environment. The other capability is really our own front-end sort of user interface. In a similar fashion, you would essentially have to run a report with a bunch of filters, with a bunch of criteria, et cetera, and then it gives you kind of a more holistic view of, or actually a list of suppliers that, for example, you're looking to go after, or suppliers that are alternative to the supplier that you're already using, or, for example, you want to understand current information about the supplier that you're already dealing with, and you want to come in and again, run those searches and run those criteria and then generate a report for yourself.
And the product that you've created relies more on natural language searching, is that right?
That's right. And so just like many of the thank God I didn't have to answer a lot of the questions that you guys already answered, because I don't want to sound repetitive, but this was, again, a perfect use case because you're able to ask that question in natural language and get all those answers provided to you and kind of highlighted to you right out of the gate within seconds.
Yeah. When we were talking before we came on stage, one of the things that you said that interested me was in the early stages of developing this new product, you're talking to your clients, you're actually learning things from your clients that you didn't fully appreciate up until that point, right? Give me a sense of sort of what that was like.
Sure. So, we're just like many other data providers or application providers. We're used to, servicing up our data in certain ways, as I mentioned, and you're not really kind of, I would say, trying to drill into every single micro task or micro step that they take in order to get to their answer that they're looking for, right? As we've gotten much deeper and started to engage with them, we realized that there's a lot of micro steps that they have to take, and questions they have to ask, and things they have to validate, reference back to documentation and other sources of information in order to get to the answer. And so as we engaged them, we started to realize that those micro tasks or those steps could all be sort of consolidated or alleviated, and those mundane tasks can also be, removed, right, as a result of giving them this new capability.
And as you described what you were trying to do with AI in this product to people before they actually had something to touch and feel, they had this aha moment, you said.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so this was an interesting process, and as we engaged and started to talk about, what can Gen AI do for you, obviously, I think as a lot of people here in the room probably have experienced, nobody knew what it was, but everybody wanted to use it, right? So everybody was running towards it, but it was very difficult for them to figure out where to apply it. And so as we started to engage and talk to customers, we realized that we have to kind of change and shift a little bit our conversation and really make it more about the education of Gen AI as it is about the requirements gathering in terms of what they want us to build. And so when you spend the time to explain to them the value and educate them on the use case in where this could be most applicable and where they get the largest ROI, they get that aha moment. And then they start to volunteer much more information, so they make your job a lot easier.
Interesting. So give me a sense of sort of what is, from your beta testing and from the early commercial use of this, what has been the return on investment for your clients when they're using the product?
So we almost very recently launched it. We have our client zero is actually IBM, so we'll talk about that a little more. And they have a very large procurement team, and the feedback has been very positive. And we've seen anywhere from 10 to 20% in terms of return investment from a productivity standpoint. And so that's a very significant number when you think about, again, a procurement team, and obviously they vary in size, but regardless, for them, this is a big saver.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned IBM is a client of this, but they also were the people you turned to help develop it.
That's right.
There are obviously an awful lot of people you could have gone to trying to develop an AI product like this one. Why IBM?
So IBM is a very special and unique partner for us, and it's many different kind of dimensions. They're not just a technology provider, so obviously they are. We used our watsonx across a lot of our capabilities, a lot of our build. We use watsonx Orchestrate to build this capability. They're also a partner because we co-build this product together with them. And they're also, as I mentioned, the consumer of this product, but they're also a reseller of this product. So there's many different kind of opportunities and aspects that we see where where the opportunity with IBM was, again, very special and unique from all these different perspectives.
We heard from an earlier panelist that AI is not just a destination, it's a journey. Mm-hmm. And that's true also with this application, right? I mean, you've got the first stage of it out there for people to use, but give us a sense of sort of where you see it going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so from a Dun & Bradstreet in terms of services that we provide, so I mentioned in terms of the data that we give to our customers, but we're also a data management solution. So we allow our clients to give us a lot of their data. We help them clean it, normalize it. We help them match it to a DUNS number. And really from there, they're able to then append that our data with their data, right? So that way they get a more complete picture of their counterparty, whether it's a customer or a supplier. And now think about taking all that data and putting it, overlaying Gen AI capability over it, and Ask Procurement now gives them, such as Ask Procurement, would give them a more holistic view of their supplier that not just brings in third-party data like Dun & Bradstreet, but also their own. And so that's really how we see kind of where the next phase of this is evolving and where we see the largest opportunity.
Fantastic. Well, Gary, thank you for sharing your experience today.
Thanks.
Welcome back to Bloomberg. Please, on your way out, don't steal any of those. Okay?
Thank you.